All right, here's an interesting little question that was brought up in the learning guide, and it's actually number 10 on the multiple choice. So I want to show you this one because it also appears again in the long answer. So here's the question. It says a company sells 200 tickets right here. The price is $25, which is kind of interesting. They notice that for every increase of price of $5 will result in 15 fewer tickets being sold. That says write an equation for the number of tickets being sold as a function of price. So in other words, what you need here is you need this n to equal to something. That's how it's going to work here for us. All right, what does this mean? Well, okay, let's do it in two different methods. We're going to do a linear algebra method and we're going to do a calculus method. The linear algebra method is very, very interesting. What you're going to do here is you're going to set up a table of values. And the interesting thing is that they said the number of tickets sold. So this is actually going to be your y value. So the number of tickets sold here is n. All right, so that means the price has got to be P. That's going to be your X value. All right, so here's your X, here's your Y. That's how it works. Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to add in the things now. For case in point, let's take a look at the N value. The N value is the number of tickets. You sold 200 tickets for $25. All right, so if you think about it, this is your first point. 25 comma 200. There's your first point. Your second point is an increase of $5 and you're going to sell 15 less tickets. So that means you're going to sell 185 tickets. All right. And somewhere in there, you're going to have to figure out your maximum and your minimum and all that other stuff that goes along with it. But this is interesting now because you have 1 point, you have 2 points, and you know from last year you can actually determine a slope now. So the slope, which is y equals mx plus b, and that's what this is going to end up giving you, is a y equals mx plus b kind of formula. Your slope, remember, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if you take your y2, which is 185, you subtract the 200 from it. So 185 minus 200. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your 30 and subtract the 25 from it. So, okay, 30 over here minus the 25. So what's going to happen here is you're going to have negative 15 over 5. So you get a slope of negative 3. Fantastic. You're halfway there. So let's extend the page a little bit and let's go from there. Now, what's interesting here is last year I also taught you that y minus y1 equals to mx minus x1. Like that. Perfect. Excellent. So let's start substituting in the values. You know the slope now is minus 3. Pick a point. I'm just going to pick our original point. Y minus 200 equals to minus 3x minus 25. Now, if you remember correctly, that's how you solve an equation and you construct a new equation. Well, here we go. Mailman this over here. Y minus 200 equals to minus 3x plus 75. You bring the 200 over. Oops, it's supposed to be equal to. Sorry, apologize. You add the 200 to both sides. Okay? And you get a beautiful equation saying y equals to minus 3x plus 275. Now, remember what I said earlier. Your y's are actually n's. So let's change this thing to an n equals to. Your x's are p's equals to minus 3p plus 275. There you go. So number 10, I'm going to give you the answer for it just because you watched the podcast, is n equals minus 3p plus 275. I believe that's answer A and question number 10 on the learning guide. Now, let's go and take a look at the calculus method of doing this. Same kind of idea where you're given 200 tickets. There's 200 tickets. Every time you get an increase of $5 on the price, for every single increase, this goes down by 15 tickets for every increase. So the X's indicate the number of increases that you make. Okay, so if you think about that, you go up by one increase of 5. This is now $30. You go down by 15 tickets, which is now $185, and so on and so forth. You go up by 2 increases. This is now 10 plus 25 makes 30. $5. This will go down by 30 tickets, which means you're at 170, and so on. That's not what's important. What's important here is this. This is the number of tickets. This is the price. So check this out now. This is really, really neat. The number of tickets equal to 200 minus 15x, right? The price equals to 25 plus 5x. Look what's in common to both of these. What's in common to both of these is x. You want this to be n equals to something as a function of this p. So you know what? Solve for this x. So let's minus 25 from both sides. Beautiful. Okay, that cancels, giving you p minus 25 equals to 5x. Divide by 5 each side. Look what you've got here. Boom. X equals to p minus 25 over 5. Looks pretty ugly, but watch this. There's the x that is in common with the two equations. You plunk that sucker in there, and look what you get. You got n equals to 200 minus 15. There's your substitution, p minus 25 over 5. Excellent. Look at this. Now you can actually cancel some stuff. This becomes 3. And look at this. Tell me that this does not suddenly look familiar. Mailman that guy in by distributing it. Minus 3p plus 3 times 25 is 75. The negative and negative cancel out, right? So now combine like terms and look what you got. N equals to 275 minus 3p, which is exactly what you had on the other side, and the answer for that guy is A.